going on? Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, and welcome back to Bottomfeedersusa with your host, Modem. And it's been a minute since I've been on here. I hope everyone's being safe. And to all the ones that are gone, they still live in spirit. So, I hope everyone enjoyed the UC Wildcats series. Me and Coach Carl had an amazing time with these kids. And when I watch those videos in succession, I really am proud of the way those kids performed. And when we first started this thing, me and Carl had some reservations about what we could do as coaches. This is our first time ever being in front of kids, giving them direction on the court. So we were, just, kind of hesitant with some of the things that we were going to talk about, some of the things that we were going to practice. So I just want to give a big thank you to everyone who watched the series, all the parents, the players, and anyone who came out and supported these kids, man, because it was amazing. It was amazing. So at the start of the season, like I said, we had a lot of, hesitations and reservations about exactly how the season was going to go. So the first thing we wanted to figure out is can we actually make these kids better than they were previously, at the start of the season. That's what we wanted to figure out first, is can we do that? And as the season going along and me and Coach worked more and more together and had more conversations about the team and the players, we were able to slowly get these kids better and better on the court. Of course, in sports, things got to go your way sometimes in certain games in order for you to pull them out, even if you are playing at your best. So they weren't able to pull out every single win, but they were very competitive in almost every single game that they played in. So I was definitely proud of those guys. But that's just something that comes along with being in team sports. When you are, young, and it doesn't really sit in with you until you start to grow and get older and mature, and you realize that there's certain types of players on each team. You're gonna have your superstars or your all-stars, or those guys that are just God-given, talented, and able to do things that you hadn't seen previously, against competition that you were going against before, and then you're gonna have your role players, you're gonna have your fundamental guys, your guys who can go out there and just play fundamentally sound basketball, and they're not gonna hurt your team. They're not gonna be out there putting your team in bad situations, turning the ball over, things like that. So you got those guys, and then you got the guys who want to be leaders, or they want to be the scoring type, or they want to be the guy who's able to help the next man. And we had to decide if those guys truly wanted to help, or they just wanted to be the man, or that they wanted to be the scorer. And that took time. Over the first couple of games, we had to figure out, who could do what. And, halfway through the season, I told Coach, I said, this is where a lot of these guys have to realize that even though they are overly talented compared to some of their teammates, if you're not willing to help your teammates get better, on the court with you to help you win, number one, you're not going to win any games. But number two, you're going to always be frustrated because your teammates aren't on the same skill level as you. And that may, how can I say, it may lessen your trajectory, on your path to success. So that's why I always say, well, a lot of these guys and gals, if you don't want to play with people on the court, you got to go find you an individual sport to play. You got golf, you got tennis, you got swimming, wrestling, there's, karate. There's tons of sports out there that you can do as an individual. Track, and you can just focus merely on yourself, because some people need that. They need to just focus merely on themselves because they're not the leading type, or they're not able to work well with others, and that's all right. you know. But at the age that we want to influence kids, in that 12 to 14, 15 range, we want these kids to identify with themselves early on, that who they are and who they want to be, so you can decide now what path you want to take. So when you're 18, 19 years old, you're still not wondering about who you are and who you want to be and where you want to go with your life. You've already figured out, if you work well with others, if you don't work well with others, if you like this sport or this hobby, or you have this passion, you like this, musical instrument, or you like watching movies, or you like whatever it is. We want you to identify with that faster, so you're not frustrating yourself playing in a sport you might not need to be in, so that's where we at as coaches. We want to be able to affect them on the court where they can get wins, but at the same time, helping them grow as young men and young women. And I just had fun. I had a ball. I recorded some of those games. My daughter recorded some of those games. You can tell which one was me because I'm in there yelling the whole time. And I just had the most fun that I ever had in a very long time, on a basketball court, and I wasn't even playing. It's just watching these kids go up and down and grow with each other, and learn how to communicate better with each other on the court. Just knowing each other. This is the first time them meeting each other and playing, so they didn't have a camaraderie or a team chemistry like most teams have. So I was just really proud of them, and I'm proud for what we may have going in the future with the UC Wildcats. Hopefully we're able to start this 501c where we're able to help these kids travel around the U.S. and hopefully one day the world, and see everything there is to see outside of their neighborhoods, so they can see that the world is just bigger than where they live at, and they can dream and aspire higher than, what they see, and know that the sky is the limit. And like my man Mike Jordan say, the roof is the ceiling, So I'm superly, I don't even know that's a word, but I'm overly hyped. I'm super energized about, this program and what it has going on in the future. And, it's just a big shout out to those kids, a big shout out to the parents who, allowed us to, give their kids some direction, and it meant the world to us as, coaches starting out in this thing. And, I'm just doing it to help, my mans, but I also had a lot of fun with it. And we got to just continue to see what happens in the future. So I got more videos to come. Hopefully you'll get to see more of these guys. We have officially started the Wildcat workouts. So these guys are getting in the gym more often, getting more reps, getting themselves better prepared to take their show on the road, and let other teams and states, see what they have to offer. So I'm going to leave it right there. My name is Modem. And, remember those 3 P's: peace, positivity, and prayer, and you'll be all right. And I'll catch you on the next one.